Give me what to say, let me hear you clearly define what I am to do. Let every word penetrate the heart. Let what is said lead them running to your arm. Use me, Lord. Use me, Lord.
Let's get on. I'm going to be coming from 2 Kings, 5th chapter. And I'm going to talk about a man's pride. A man's pride. Pride. So let's get started. I want to listen to Ella Williams. 1 Kings, we're going to 5, verses 1 through 5. Naaman, commander of the army of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master, in high favor, because by him the Lord had given victory to Syria. He was a mighty man of valor, but he was a leper. Now the Syrians, on one of their raids, had carried off a little girl from the land of Israel, and she worked in the service of Naaman's wife. She said to her mistress, "Would that my Lord were with the prophet who is in Samaria. He would cure him of his leprosy." So Naaman went in and told his Lord thus, and so spoke the girl from the land of Israel. And the king of Samaria said, Go, and I will send a letter unto the king of Israel. And he departed, and took with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 pieces of gold, and 10 changes of raiment. He took, let me look at that again, 10 talents of silver, 6,000 pieces of gold. Now, if we could equate that in today's market, that would be a little over $1.25 billion. I'm trying to buy what I want. I don't quite know what's going on yet, but let me get into it. This evening, we're going to look at a proudful man named Naaman. Naaman was a very proud man, like many of us men, within this church. Now, as we look at Naaman's story, I want us to see some key things about him that will cause him to become prideful, and see how his pride almost cost him everything. So let's look together. What is pride? Pride is excessive self-esteem, arrogance, putting one's thoughts and opinions above God's word, taking credit for God's accomplishment, relying on one's own wisdom and strength for success, believing that you, nature, fate, or other things rather than God are the source of your accomplishments. God didn't have nothing to do with it. The moon and the stars were lined up. I talked to Ella Williams, and he told me what to do. And Ella Miller came behind and said the right thing, and so that's who I listened to. And I'm just using these men for examples. Now, the first thing I want you to see here is that Naaman was a man who had a great deal of pride. Let's look at verse 1. Now, Naaman was commander of the army of the king of Aram. He was a great man in the sight of his master, highly regarded, because through him the Lord had given victory to Aram, and he was a valiant soldier. Naaman could be proud of many things, such as his position in life. He was a commander of a very powerful army. Men took orders from him. Men feared him. Men showed him respect and honor. This was a position other men dreamed of. It was something that Naaman could be proud of. He was a very powerful man. He was a very popular man. He had a good name. He was well respected and trusted even by his king, which was unheard of in those days. Most military leaders were feared by the king. He was powerful. He was popular. He was also an accomplished man. He had accomplished a great deal in life. It says that he won a great number of battles. Naaman was a man any mom would be proud to call son. Naaman was Mr. Wonderful, a young lady's delight. But Naaman had junk in his trunk. Naaman had leprosy. Now, Naaman had won many battles, but notice who had given him his battles. God. God gave him his battles. And many of you have a lot to be proud of. We have people who own their own business, who have accomplished careers, individuals with wonderful gifts and talents that are used within the church, and so much more. Church members, you have accomplished a great deal in your life, but don't think that you did it on your own. God warned the Israelites to be careful when they went into the promised land and had their bellies full, not to forget that it was God who got them there. And you are where you are today because God helped you to get there. It was God who gave you the ability to do what you do. Now, that doesn't by any means lessen your accomplishment, but it acknowledges that without God, you wouldn't be where you were or where you are today. Without God, you are nothing. Now, Naaman had a lot to be proud of. He was a military leader. He was well respected. He had won many battles, but he had leprosy. Notice how one little thing changed everything. All the great accomplishment, all the titles, all the glory no longer matter. Naaman could be proud and was canceled out by one phase. One phase canceled him out, but he had leprosy. He was a great man, but he had leprosy. Now, leprosy was a terrible skin disease that affected a person's life in every way imaginable. It deformed the body and caused a person to be ostracized by others. It was a certain death sentence. Even with all of Naaman's glory, even with a common slave in all of Israel, not even a common slave in all of Syria would change places. You're rich. You're famous. You're powerful. Men bow to you. But nobody wants to be you. Nobody wants to be you. Something's wrong there. When you're having problems, and this is what I got now. When you're having problems and wanting to be healed by God, don't go to the wrong place. Naaman had leprosy. It was a death disease. If you go into it, it formed scales, and your joints even begin to come together and fuse. They fuse together and they begin to look like little nubs. Your skin turns scaly and white. And, oh, it was a mess. Nobody wanted leprosy. So Naaman, verse 5, 6, and 7. So Naaman, and the king of Israel said, Go, and I will send a letter unto the king of Israel. And he departed and took with him 10,000 talents of silver, 6,000 pieces of gold, and 10 changes of raiment. And he brought the letter to the king of Israel, saying, Now when this letter is come unto thee, I will wherewith send Naaman my servant to thee, that thou mayest recover him of his leprosy. And it came to pass when the king of Israel had read the letter, that he rent his clothes and said, Am I God to kill and to make alive, that this man does sentence me to recover a man of his leprosy? Therefore consider, I pray ye, and see how you seeketh a quarrel against me. How you seeking a quarrel against me? Your Naaman goes to a natural man. He goes to a man who's supposedly a great king. He goes to the best king that he knows. He goes to the king of that land. Oh, but he didn't go to the one great king. He didn't go to the almighty king. He went to a natural king. He didn't know nothing about a spiritual king. Wasn't even aware of why he made his accomplishment. But I'm going and talk to a king. I hear there's a man over here. I hear there's somebody over here who might be able to take care of me. And this is the part I like. Let me get on over here to 7. There used to be a song that says, searching for love in all the wrong places. It could be very appropriate today, for we look for many things in wrong places. People are looking for peace in presidential candidates, seeking to get rich and live a life of ease. Some are seeking union with the same sex, claiming it's a God-given right. They are trying to find peace in all the wrong places, while God stands with welcoming in their arms. People. There are actually some stories and passages in the Bible where people went to the wrong place to find God. David took advice from Samuel without either of them inquiring of the Lord before making a decision and were rebuked for it. King Rehoboam went to his friends to get counsel instead of taking counsel of the elders, and caused the kingdom to divide. The Jews heaped together false prophets and told them nice things, and rejected the true prophets from God, ultimately leading to their downfall. So the question is, can we or do we make the same mistakes? Do we? God's messages and solutions are simple and are very often quite unexpected. We're expecting thunder, lightning, and glowing angels. God has a simpler method. Verse 10, at 2 Kings, verse 10, 5:10. And Elisha sent a messenger to him, saying, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come to thee again, and thou shalt be clean. Thou shalt be clean. But let me skip around a little bit, because I got a little time to slack up. Naaman didn't quite get it. He said, don't this man know who I am? Don't he know all of my accomplishments? Didn't he get the letter from my king? I am somebody, and you sent a servant out here to me to tell me to go jump in the river. What's wrong? All I got to do is jump in the river. I could have jumped in the river at home. This one is worse than the one I got. Listen. Naaman wanted a TV evangelist to come out. He wanted his posse and his entourage to come out. He wanted to hear music. He wanted to hear a song and dance. And he wanted to come out and wave and ta. And he wanted the full works, because he brought stuff with it. I'm going to pay for this. I want what I got, what I'm paying for. But he sends a servant out. And the servant got nerve enough to tell me to go jump in the river. But wait a minute. He didn't tell me not to jump in the river one time. He told me to go dunk myself 7 times. Jump in the river 7 times. So something ain't right, huh? Something ain't right. Here I am, nobility. I won wars. Kings honor me. The ladies look up to me. And you want me to jump in the river? Isn't it amazing how God simplifies things? Isn't it amazing how God knows how to humble somebody proud? It's the humbling effect. It's the proud that you don't know it all. You ain't got it all. You're lowly. Go get in that river. Oh, my God. My God. My God. Naaman didn't like it. He didn't like it. He didn't like the cure because it was a cure that he didn't want. I don't have to humble myself. I don't have to humble my, do you know the hardest thing it is to do is to be humble? I've tried it. It's hard to be humble. Bishop Bogan used to say it's hard to stand in the midst of turkeys when you're eagle. Listen, he had to be humble. The guy, the rich man who had done it, told Jesus, I done did everything. I have provided all of the things. I have been a perfect saint. Y'all know he was lying. I have been perfect. Jesus said, well, since you done all that, go down to the pawn shop and get rid of all of that stuff. Better than that, take it out to a broker and sell it all. Get humble. You've done all of this. You should be humble now. The young man went away saying, I ain't about to be broke. I got people waiting on me. Why should I wait on somebody? I thought about the fig tree. Was that pastor talking about the fig tree? The fig tree represents somebody who has the appearance of being marvelous, of being wonderful. The fig tree represents that Christian that's out there that's doing all of this works and that's doing everything looking good, but they're not producing. They just looking good. You're not visiting anybody. You're not talking to anybody. Matter of fact, you're over there fussing because somebody got your parking spot. Naaman was upset. He was upset. He thought that Elisha would put on a big show for him. Invite Channel 12 News. Let them know that I'm in town. Here I am. Let's do it right. Is that the way we want to do it? Is that the way we want to show off? Is that the way we get our healing? I heard a pastor say, matter of fact, Pastor C. and Ella Williams was talking, we get it on our knees. We get it through prayer, request. Let God fight your battles. Let God be your doctor. Let God take care of you. Now, I'm not saying don't do this or don't do that, but you got to have greater faith in him who controls everything. That's who you've got to believe in. I'm going through things right now, and I believe in God. My wife said, well, Bird, why don't you go here? What? You need to, what? Hey, this guy got it. Pastor C, love you, man. You gave me some good advice. We're going to have a talk about it one of these days. We have to be here for each other. I'm going to tell you ladies something, and I'm going to humble myself a little bit. They give me some medication. And I'm telling you, I wake up at night in a sweat. I'm wet, the bed wet, and I can't get cold, can't get hot, can't get cool. And a few minutes later, I'm too cold. I said, you ladies, every man should experience that. He'd shut up. Every husband should experience that. He'd shut up. He would go over there and say, baby, here, I'm going to buy you a blanket that you can turn up. I'm going to put the air conditioner beside the bed. Just let it blow you. Anything you want. Until you have experienced something. Jesus said, unless you drink of the cup that I got. Respect your ladies, man. Men, respect your wives. It's an ordeal. Let me get off let me go on with my story. Listen. Isaiah 55:8-9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts. Neither are your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. Listen, quit trying to figure God out. Quit trying to think you know what he's doing. God don't need no help, Sarah. He already said, is there anything too hard? He don't need your help. He can take it all. Matter of fact, you just messed things up. One for you, it wouldn't be a war going over there. 1 Corinthians 2:14. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolish unto him. Neither can we know because they are spiritually discerned. The natural man, the carnal side, don't know nothing. He don't know jack. He can't figure out nothing. He's seeking knowledge because he's lacking spiritually. He's trying to figure out what's going on. He's trying to figure out this thing called God, and he's going through scientific means to figure out something that is beyond science, beyond medicine, beyond mental comprehension. God is too high, too smart, too everything for mere mortals. He's outside the realms. But we want to know. Let's go on to let's go on to I'm in this thing. So Gaza goes out and decides, you know what? This foolish prophet don't want these things. I'm gonna take them. Hey, come here. Listen. Let me have a couple of them silver coins. Let me have a couple of them gold. And while you're at it, give me a couple of suits. And he goes back and Elijah says, what did you do? I didn't do nothing. Don't you think that I knew? Don't you think that I saw? Don't you think that God is an all-seeing God? God is an all-knowing God? Don't you think that I knew? Don't you think that God was going to warn me? Don't you think that God was going to give me an eye into it? Don't you think? And that's a problem that sometimes we have. We don't want to get caught up in godly things. The movie or the play was your arms too short to box with God. Leave godly things alone. Leave things that you don't understand. Leave it alone. Pray for understanding. Pray for wisdom. Pray for knowledge. That's what you do. Don't sit there and holler, it's this, it's that, and give me an excuse. I don't want to hear it. I've said things that go beyond human comprehension, beyond human knowledge. You're going to tell me a stick going to move along in front of my car and I'm running 75, 80 down 71 and don't crash through the windshield? A 4x4 fell off a truck. It moves parallel to the ground. It's going, and I drive. I don't mess around. I'm trying to get to Mississippi. The 4x4 hit the ground and moved parallel with my car. Now, how do I explain that? How do you explain that? The natural man can't explain it. It's God. It folded up against my windshield just as soft and gently. And it eased over the top. Didn't scratch nothing, didn't harm nothing. And I looked back and it was flapping in the middle of the road. I said, Lord, don't let nobody hit it. We can't explain the things that God do for us. We don't know how he does it and why he does it. All we know is that he does it. He does it. Let me get on over here to pride. I feel like finished talking about pride. So, back to the pride, the topic pride. The Bible is clear. Pride goes before destruction. And although we may condemn many more visual sins, pride by far is the deadliest. Pride acts as the gateway to just about every other sin. Pride acts as a barrier between you and God, your will and God's will. That's why the Bible speaks so harshly against the sin of pride. In the book of Proverbs, God gives a list of things he hates. He hates, and the first one on the list is pride. Pride is included in the 7 deadly sins over and over in the Bible. We are warned that if we exalt ourselves, God will bring us down. For example, Nebuchadnezzar was a powerful king who forgot God, so God made him like an animal and eat the grass of the fields. King Herod heard a chant from the crowd saying he was like a god, and since he didn't humble himself, God struck him down and worms consumed his body. Satan himself exalted himself above God, and God flung him down to the earth over and over again. Through examples or through direct command, we're told, don't be prideful or arrogant, be humble. Pride defies God. It is in his fist, in his face. Pride is what created. Pride is what created the devil and ruined the human race in the Garden of Eden. God hates it, and when we harbor pride in our heart, we welcome adversary. Pride defiles man. A man with pride in his heart was born with it. It isn't something we learn, it is something we inherit. Pride divides society. There has never been an argument, a war, a divorce, a church split where pride was not the major factor. Pride dishonors life. In the pursuit of honor, pride brings shame. Proverbs 29:3 says, a man's pride will bring him low, but the humble in spirit will remain honor. Pride destroys souls. It is to the ruin, to ultimate ruin. National, domestic, financial, emotional, spiritual, eternal ruin, because it destroys all. Pride is a matter of heart. If we are not right with God, we cannot be right with one another. But the grace of God is sufficient for everyone. John 4:6 says, God resists the proud, but give grace to the humble. There's none so bad that cannot be saved. There's none so good that doesn't need saving. Defeating pride begins with humbling ourselves before the Lord. May you be blessed.
Give me what to say. Let me hear you.
Thank you for listening. If this teaching has been a blessing to you and you'd like to partner with our ministry to share the message of Jesus Christ, please visit our website at www.hmclive.org and click the donate button. If you're in our area, we invite you to join us at 4317 Lippincott Boulevard, Burton, Michigan, 48519. Harris Memorial Church of God in Christ, teaching the truth and showing the love.
Use me, Lord.